Hello, and welcome back to our podcast. My name is Dr. Alison Chiwara. I'm the CEO and founder of Human Focus Limited, a company that is truly dedicated to creating happier and healthier workforces and workplaces. And it's always my pleasure, week in and week out, to come here and share with you the little that I've read about, heard about, and maybe know. So, again, I honestly couldn't do this without you. So thank you for returning always. Our podcast today is on the courage to be soft, making room for that vulnerability. You see, there's a moment, a quiet and almost unnoticeable moment, where the armor slips, where the leader that you are, the parent, the partner, the polished professional kind of blinks back the weight of the world behind their ears. And in that breath, they feel something. Today I want us to paddle together, not into the rapids, no, not so fast, but through the gentle lock towards something much warmer. A place where we allow vulnerability to live, not as a weakness, but as a very special guest. Shall we do that? You see, we never, or rather, let me say this, we are really never taught how to cry with grace. Or we're never even taught how to anyway. Only how to dry the tears rather quickly and smile before the salt stains show. Heard that? To tighten that tie, press the blouse and say, I am fine, with a pat on my shoulders. I'm fine, with a voice that breaks anyway. But my question is to you, what if that breaking is actually the beginning? And what if that softening that you feel in that moment of vulnerability is actually your strength? I once sat in a room with a leader so composed, super composed, and their silence just was so much louder than any speech in the room, until one particular day they shared a story, not strategies, not just a simple story, no numbers, but just their personal memories. The room didn't shrink in discomfort. What actually happened was everybody was so eager, so keen to hear, and they leaned in. Hearts began to open up like flowers on a beautiful sunny day, because finally someone let the truth breathe. You hear me? They shared a story of their own in a moment nobody expected, but that allowed everybody to sort of lean in instead of feel uncomfortable about what was about to be said. When you understand vulnerability, you realize that it's not a performance. It's often found in the moments that we live in our presence. It's actually a moment when we choose to be open, not maybe all the time, but at that right time, that moment, that minute, that second. It is knowing that someone's leadership looks like listening. Does this make sense? Like saying, okay, I don't know you, but I'm letting the room see you blink. Does this make sense? So, as leaders, how do we make room for it? Or as budding professionals? Well, I want to share a few nuggets here. And I trust that this will give you a head-led shift, I hope, to how you see your journeys. I often say that the journey of becoming vulnerable or being vulnerable starts with self-permission. It's about saying to ourselves, it's okay that I don't have it all together. And the reality, honestly, is the world isn't going to fall apart. There isn't going to be breaking news because you let your mask down. Absolutely not. Sometimes it comes together more authentically when you start to show up and start to be the person that says, I don't have it all together. Honestly, not all the time. Sometimes, yes. So that permission, giving yourself permission to let your mask down. Does that make sense? The other bit is I'll probably say is I always talk about psychological safety. It's not just for us allowing it for others. It's also for us to give ourselves permission or access to psychological safety. So creating that safe space in your head where you say, I'm going to replace what's wrong with what's real for you right now, what's real for me right now. I am going to say I'm no longer using what's wrong. I'm saying what's real for me right now in this moment. Let people answer without fixing those questions. Does that make sense? Vulnerability actually blossoms in silence that holds space, not solutions. I am incredibly lucky. I have amazing friends that have allowed me room within our conversations for me to create safe space in my head where I say, what's real for me right now is I'm speaking to this person. What's real for me right now? And Rist, I want to thank you. Also, I urge you to practice micro moments of openness. I know, micro moments of openness. I'm deliberate with this. You don't have to bleed your whole soul out every moment that you have a meeting or you meet somebody. Does this make sense? But perhaps a simple, oh gosh, today has been a bit of a heavy day. That alone can unlock a door for others to be human too with you in that moment. Does that make sense? And then a part of me wants to share this other something that usually works for me, which is allowing your pain, allowing whatever you are going through, whatever is hurting you, whatever is making you feel vulnerable, let that pain have purpose. So it's about finding purpose in our wounds. So sometimes our wounds are not the ones that disqualify us from being leaders. In fact, sometimes they're credential in that you are compassionate with yourself and you can be compassionate with others. There's a saying that says, the cracked vessels pour out the richest water. Did you hear this? Let me say this once more. The vases or the vessels that are often cracked pour out the richest water. It doesn't make sense if you've never allowed yourself to be vulnerable, but it makes perfect sense when you have moments of vulnerability. So, here we are, just you and I. But I want us to continue paddling along the loch. We're in Scotland, aren't we? The water, perhaps calmer now, and your hand, yes, I will still hold it for you. Let's walk along. I want it to feel warm for you, and I want it to also feel very real for you. In this space, you're not required to know. You're just being invited to feel, to be, to heal. And also, I want you to let your softness rise in this moment and let your truth drip like honey, perhaps from your tongue or the hive. I also want you to let your eyes tell the stories your mouth never dared to. Because here it is, the world doesn't need more polished perfection. I share this in my little write-up to the newly graduates, or rather the new graduates, only a few weeks ago. And I said the world does not need perfection. It needs people who are more present. It needs your presence. And presence is the most powerful form of leadership today. Maybe it wasn't so yesterday, but today I can assure you that your presence is what your leadership or what leadership requires. And that is what creates dynamic, powerful leaders. So breathe, soften, and let go. And just lead. Not in spite of your tenderness, but because of it. That tenderness is needed. It's needed. Everywhere. It's needed. It's what will open you up as this compassionate leader. It's what will open you up to others coming in and leaning into you. So until next time, please be gentle with yourself. Learn to lean on those that are willing to give you psychological space to be vulnerable. But I also want you to learn to be very fierce with your truth. And always, always lead with your heart. Always. Because it's in these moments, yes, it's in this moment, the quiet and most unnoticeable moment, where you will find the opportunity to breathe, feel, and actually allow vulnerability to live through you as a very special guest. Of course, vulnerability is not welcome all the time, may I add, especially within the entrepreneurial business leadership environments. But like I said earlier, make room for it. And always allow yourself permission. And again, don't overbleed your soul out every time that you get to stop and speak to somebody. Do it in drips, like I say. And a simple, hey, today was rather something. Or today is not my best day. Or last week was rather tough. That often opens a door. Just enough for others to know that you have a wound that is perhaps bandaged, maybe still bleeding, and they know to be gentle with their nudges. I hope today has been a lesson worth listening to and a podcast worth your time. I often hear those in Africa saying data is rather expensive, so don't waste it. I hope I haven't wasted your data. And I trust that in this journey, as we walk together and paddle together through the beautiful lochs of Scotland, with my voice gently chaperoning you through the many curves and woodlands and mountains as we hike, I trust that my words leave a little dew, morning dew on you, so you can remember how wonderful the world really is. Until next time, take care of yourself and others, of course, as you continue to learn how to be vulnerable or be more present. From me to you, from human focused to your organization, and of course to your household, perhaps your communities, it's goodbye for now. Until next time, take care. And of course, for those of you in business that are looking for somebody to motivate, to inspire, and of course, to create really healthy and happier workplaces and workforces. Please do get in touch with us on info@human-focused.com. Take care. Bye-bye.